Hello, it is August 21st, and the time right now is 7:17 p.m. The reason that I'm making this video right now is due to the fact that I need to ask the courts to give me my brain savant powers, please. Mainly due to the fact that everyone in this court, their entire motive revolves around my brain savant and my brain savant powers, the envy against it, its monetary potential, the envy against the girls running after its monetary potential and wanting to be able to run after those girls. For some of them, every single person's motive in this trial narrating or testifying against me revolves around my brain savant powers. Sir and ma'am, honorable judges of the court. So I'm humbly requesting my brain savant powers to be freed, since they will say that it has nothing to do with what they're saying or doing. It's unheard of and it's never happened before. Fact of the matter is, every single person's motive for testifying against me in this trial revolves around my brain savant power. It's greed for the monetary potential for it. So this is just from today. I'm not going to show the other ones. Obviously, it's more than 100, way more than 100 for just the past couple of weeks. This is August 21st. That is today when I open up my TV, 3:03 p.m. Fur the Greedy Framer is advertising for her abnormal looking, ugly, weirdo daughters, one with an abortion already done before her first marriage. Then she got a divorce from her first marriage. Then she got a divorce from her second marriage. She wants me to marry that ugly looking daughter or some other one of her daughters whom I have no interest in. Then a little while later, just today, the same day, once again, she has law enforcement put up an ad for her abnormal looking ugly daughters, who don't look anything like that, by the way, and are harassing me all day, night long to try to force me to marry her abnormal looking ugly daughters, whom I said on June 16th, weeks ago, that I'm not interested in her abnormal looking ugly daughters, and by now she's already sent me more than hundreds of requests for me to marry her daughter every single day, and those are just the two that I'm showing from today. Every single person's motive for testifying against me in this trial revolves around my brain savant monetary potential, or the fact that other girls are running after it. The reason Kashif Firozvi is testifying right now, I can guarantee the courts, he was texted by Kelly from law enforcement, and he was texted by Miss Hopkins. Miss Hopkins crying over to him, saying that my brain savant's about to get freed if he doesn't do something, and Kashif Firozvi, being a hero for his mistress, says, "Don't worry, I'll take care of it." And Kashif Firozvi comes over and tries to take care of it, as in to make sure at any cost that my brain savant cannot get freed, only because I rejected his mistress, who is literally 20 years older than me, and they're both a couple born to be made in heaven, since they're both almost 20 years older than me, Miss Hopkins and Kashif Firozvi. Okay, I rejected her, due to which she cried over to Kashif Firozvi, whom she was sleeping with, saying that you have to go and narrate in this trial, and so did Kelly from law enforcement do so as well. These people have a motive around my brain savant and my brain savant powers. Law enforcement's been claiming that it has nothing to do with what they're doing, then they shouldn't have a problem releasing it. As soon as my brain savant gets released, I can guarantee the courts that a lot of these people are going to stop testifying, mainly due to the fact that Kashif Firozvi's mistress, Ms. Hopkins, is going to say, no, don't testify against him anymore. Now I have to aggressively run after him. Fur the Greedy Framer is going to say, I'm not testifying against him anymore. Now I have to aggressively run after him. My dad, the Greedy Framer, is going to say, I'm not testifying against him anymore. Now I have to go and beg him all day, night long to give me that money that I was blackmailing him with price tags for. All of these people's motives are all centered around my brain savant and its monetary potential, and the girls running after its monetary potential. The fact of the matter is, Miss Hopkins cried over to Kashif Firozvi as soon as she thought that my brain savant was about to get freed. First, she tried to narrate or testify herself. Being a teacher, a school teacher who runs after students, is considered a terrible thing in this world. It's something very frowned upon. It's not something that is liked at all, not one bit, due to which the courts are definitely not going to accept any narration by a school teacher who was lustfully and greedily running after her students who rejected her, and now she wants to testify against him. Is not going to be a testimony that's going to be accepted at all. And so she cried over to Kashif Ferozvi and said, do something. You have to make sure that the person whose monetary potential for his brain savant I couldn't get, no other girl or woman could get either. I can guarantee the courts, Ms. Hopkins texted Kashif Ferozvi, and so did Kelly from law enforcement. Kelly from law enforcement, who was last week trying to seduce me with my neighbor, who's a married woman, by having her show off outside of my balcony wearing short clothing. Yes, I didn't look towards her, but I know for a fact that's what she would do to try to seduce me. I knew what she was doing, so I closed my blinds, and the next day Kelly from law enforcement had her bark her dog outside my window while stimulating my penis, at which point I told Kelly to tell her friend to get the heck off my window and my face, only because I knew exactly what was going on, and I already have someone in mind. These people are lustfully and greedily running after money and my brain savant's monetary potential. Yesterday was August the 20th, and yesterday at 2:25 p.m., the courts came to a conclusion that my brain savant was literally the most profitable in the world and literally the most rare in the world, mainly due to the fact that not because I'm instantaneous photographic memory innovation focusing, and these powers are 1,000 times more powerful than any normal human being can ever imagine having, but due to the fact that my powers increase over time, which I said in the starting that my powers increase over time. Incredibly rare fact and detail about my brain savant that I could not have guessed. It's not something that someone could guess. The probability of me guessing something like this is like 1 in a trillion, and everyone in law enforcement, including Kelly and everyone else, knows that there was not even the hint of anything from the artificial intelligence report, clearly proving that obviously I'm telling the truth about my brain savant, its profitability and its rarity, mainly due to the fact that its powers increase over time. As soon as it started evolving, when I became an adult, it started evolving, continuing to evolve with its powers increasing over time, making it extremely rare and profitable. I can guarantee the courts that the people that are falsely testifying against me, who have made numerous lies against me, who are claiming that nothing has to do with the monetary potential and this and that, all their lies are going to come out. Their motives are going to come out. Kashif's mistresses are going to tell him to back away because they have to try to run after me now after my brain savant gets freed. Yes, it's no secret that artificial intelligence is not a liar, and the moment I can guarantee the courts that they're not going to argue against artificial intelligence being flawed anymore, because if they do, then I'm going to agree with them, at which point the courts are going to have to prove to the world that please and thank you, that this is an impartial trial, due to which every evidence has to be presented before the court. So if everyone agrees, both parties agree that the brain savant artificial intelligence report is flawed, then obviously a 30-minute test would have to be crucial to prove that piece of evidence, which is my brain savant potential, obviously. But yes, the fact of the matter is, I'm begging the courts to please just give me my brain savant powers. With it, we will find out exactly how much of these people are telling the truth of wanting to get to helping the courts get to the truth, and how much of these people are actually doing this only due to the greed and envy of the brain savant monetary potential. Obviously, you have other people like Junaid, who are running after women and girls who were either running after me or having their daughters run after me. Today, Junaid even got rejected by Miss Deb, who is literally... I would have to stop using the words running after people's daughters and start using the words running after people's grandmas, due to how Junaid is running after Miss Deb, which is literally unheard of. Miss Deb is one of those people, like, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. Anyways, fact of the matter is, it's incredibly strange, and Junaid wants me to obviously help him scam these girls with him and his sex addiction problem, now even going over to Miss Deb. Yes, so basically, yes, and that is definitely not someone that I would be sleeping with, so Junaid just has to like work on this one on his own. Thankfully, he didn't ask me to do that, but the fact of the matter is, everyone's motive in this trial revolves around the greed or envy for money or for sex. If the courts just let go of my brain savant, we will find out their motives right away, mainly due to the fact that Kashif's mistresses are going to tell him to back away because they have to try to run after me, and all the other people like Farah the Greedy Framer, who is every single day, all day long, trying to advertise her abnormal looking daughters to me all day and night long, is going to obviously go ahead and start running after me instead of trying to testify against me, since trying to lock up my brain savant would no longer be something that would be possible anymore. And my brain savant has absolutely nothing to do with anything, and she is advertising her daughters to me all day and night long. Obviously she only is testifying against me in court because she knows I'm not interested in her abnormal looking ugly daughters, and she's pissed off and angry about the fact that I'm going to go with someone else's daughter instead of hers, due to which she's trying to force me to marry her daughter while at the same time testifying against me or narrating against me to make sure that that monetary potential for my brain savant cannot go to anyone else's daughter, since I'm not interested in her daughter, and she knows that. So yes, these people's motives are incredibly flawed, and I can guarantee the courts that right before Kashif Ferozi testified, my school teacher, English teacher, Miss Hopkins, who was running after me, whom I tried not to be rude towards until December 11th, when she had me tortured by law enforcement to find out who it was who told me about her. She had me tortured by law enforcement only because the brain savant test results for November 14 came out on December 10th, and someone that night told me about her, due to which on December 11th she had entire law enforcement torture me very brutally to find out whom from law enforcement was telling me about her. Obviously it was Kelly. Who else would? Anyways, the fact of the matter is, these people's motives are incredibly flawed, and Miss Hopkins is the one who cried over to Kashif Ferozi. I could guarantee the text will prove it. Cried over to him, begging him to narrate in this trial, because if he didn't, then my brain savant monetary potential is going to go to some other person's daughter instead of her. Yes, their motives are incredibly flawed, and I don't even want to start with my dad, the Greedy Framer. His is like everything from greed for money to like all these weird sexual perversions, where he's even like recently going after his in-laws and using my name, like Isan one. Like, what? I wouldn't go near that man. With the amount of lies that he's made against me November 20th, he's still yelling at his sisters for telling the government informant that early January were a bunch of lies. Early April, from the facts and evidence is retrieved from the phone conversations. I can't go anywhere near him. What are the chances I'm going to go sleep with any of his in-laws? Obviously not. So he was obviously putting his own sexual perversions onto me, calling his in-laws and saying that Hassan wants to sleep with you and he's going to have a lot of money from his brain savant. We'll split it if you sleep with him. No, I rejected her, and then he calls her, which means that it was his own sexual perversions. And yeah, using my name for it, I have nothing to do with it. Yeah, so, yep, so basically, it's just insane. These people's motives are all over sex and money, and that's just about it. And it has everything to do with my brain savant. But I could guarantee the courts, if they please just let go of my brain savant, force my brain savant to get freed in general, obviously completely, since it has nothing to do with anything. Not 30-minute tests. I'll do a 30-minute test in the first 30 minutes, but in general, I just want my brain savant freed, please, so I could study using it. And studying is not a crime. me and my family, we really need the money. Okay, my mother has literally, it's the fruits of her hard labor for her entire life. I showed you the Christmas pictures from last year. Okay, I take good care of her, and I do as much as I can, but it's just there's not enough I could do. And the fact of the matter is, I haven't paid her back for her hard labor, and my family really needs the money right now. We really need it. If my brain savant would be freed, please, it would be great help. It has nothing to do with anything in this trial. It has nothing to do with anything. I just want to study using these powers, and that's it. I'll do a 30-minute test in the first 30 minutes, but I want them freed in general, since it has nothing to do with anything. Plus, if my brain savant is freed, all these people's motives are going to come out clear. I can guarantee you Kasia Ferozvi is going to be asked by his mistresses, like Kelly from law enforcement, who was asking me this week to sleep with my neighbor and to so that she could make up with me and try to run after me, or Miss Hopkins is going to try to run after me instead of having people try to lock up my brain savant, which would no longer be locked up. For the greedy framer, who is literally all day and night long advertising her abnormal looking ugly daughters to me. They're so weird and socially awkward. I'm not interested in her daughters who don't even look anything like this all day and night long. She's obviously going to then start running after me instead of trying to have my brain savant locked up, which would no longer be locked up. I just need my brain savant freed. Please, it has nothing to do with anything. I'm just going to use it to study anyways. It has nothing to do with anything, and people's motives are going to come out very clearly as soon as my brain savant is freed. So my humble request to the courts to please just let my brain savant go freed. Obviously, the first 30 minutes, I'll do a 30-minute test, but I just need it freed in general so I could study. Studying is not a crime. This has never happened before. Even in the slavery era of American history, if someone knew how to read, they would at least let that person read. They wouldn't inhibit that person from reading. If once they learn how to read, they can read. They wouldn't inhibit that person from reading, even in the slavery era, of American history. Once, if let's say a slave learned how to read, I've been a slave since I was an 11-year-old child. These tools have been used on me since then. Okay, once a slave would learn how to read, even in the slavery era, he would be allowed to read. Serial killers are allowed to read in the prison library. I just need my brain savant powers that are a gift from God. It's no one has any right to lock these things up just because they're envious of my powers. Okay, even serial killers read it in the prison library. I need my brain savant. These were all the way on the back of my head on the night of April 22nd. It has nothing to do with anything. I just want to read my textbooks. I just want to study. That's it. It has nothing to do with anything. Even in the slavery era, if a slave would learn how to read, they would let him read after that. Right now, they're not letting me. They have it all locked up, and even my ears are locked up right now. They're not going to let my ears freed, even though it's already been witnessed by the entire world on April 22nd, 2025, with this ears being all the way on the back of my head, which I cannot even move that much anymore right now, And yeah, it's just wrong. They tested it out June 24th after it was overanalyzed. There's no way they're going to agree to it easily, but it has to be forced through. It has to be forced through to be freed, mainly due to the fact that it's just wrong to inhibit someone from being able to study just because you're envious of their brain savant. It doesn't make any sense. On June 24th, they tested out my ears being freed. It's just wrong, it's wrong. Even in the slavery era, once a slave would learn how to read, you cannot inhibit that slave from reading. He could read on his free time. He could read in his room. There's a lot of reading he could do. They don't let me study. It has nothing to do with anything at all. Studying textbooks has nothing to do with anything. These people are all full of greed and envy for my brain savant powers, which is why they're doing this. I've never committed any crimes. I've never sent people to terror groups like how my dad, the greedy framer, was caught doing in 2011. I've never been banned from any countries like how my dad, the greedy framer, has been banned from the US and UK. I haven't done any of these things that my dad, the greedy framer, has done. I haven't had US intelligence spied on like how Farah, the greedy framer, had US intelligence spied on. And my witness for this fact is none other than the people on her side right now. Okay, those people are the ones that are my witness about the fact that Farah, the greedy framer, was having this very US law enforcement team and US intelligence in general after 2019 spied on so that she would know about all the info that they had, mainly by terror back factions of the ISI. We know this for a fact, since that police officer, I can guarantee, has been linked to the terrorback factions of the ISI who made the scathing police report for her against U.S. intelligence in 2019. Clearly proven for facts and evidences that these are the people, the terrorback factions of the ISI, that were spying on U.S. intelligence after she came over to the U.S. after 2019. It had to be her. It had to be them. Since she helped them out, they had to help her out. It has nothing to do with anything. I'm not a criminal. I haven't committed any crimes like how Asad Bushra Akhtar were committing in the wedding crime by knowing fully about it. Okay, I haven't committed any crime like how Shahina Shamim was fully involved in the wedding crime, fully committing it. And she's the one person who definitely committed the wedding crime. She was present there. She definitely committed it. So, yes, I haven't done anything wrong my entire life, and studying is not a crime. I just want to study. It has nothing to do with anything. There's no way I could have committed any crimes my entire life. And even slaves in the slavery era, they were allowed to study and read. Once they learned how to read, they could read. They're not letting me use my brain savant powers at all. And my humble request to judges, sir and ma'am, honorable judges of this court, please just let me use my brain savant powers to study, please. I just want to study. That's all I want to do. I just want to study. That's all I want to do. It's not a crime. There's nothing wrong with it. And since law enforcement is saying that it has nothing to do with what they did, I see no reason why they would refuse me my right to be able to study, since it is a God-given right. So that's all I had to say. Thank you.